In the 1870s and 1880s, our river was incredibly dirty, and so much of the refuse, and carcasses from the stockyards and other things were flowing into our river. Now, the lake had always been a source of our drinking water, but because the river and all that muck was flowing into the lake, in that direction, it was really clogging up. And speaking of the working river here, we've got a myriad of kayakers coming down over to your left. You might see the kayakers kind of playing around now in the river. So anyway, in the 1880s, the late 1880s, the group was formed, the Chicago Metropolitan Water Sanitation District, and they were charged with cleaning up the water and reversing the Chicago River, because people were dying of typhoid and cholera and other inbred viruses from the river. So the source of water had to be cleaned up, but also we had to change the flow of the water. In so doing, they moved more earth in creating the sanitary ship canal, or canal alongside the river far south of here, 10 or 20 miles south of here. And they dug that channel deeper than the river, so the natural flow of gravity would pull it in that direction and make it flow in the southerly direction. How's that for simplifying this engineering feat? Anyway, it was a huge and massive project, but bar none, and kind of served as the predecessor then for the Panama Canal, and other great engineering feats that occurred thereafter. So this happened in 1889, thus reversing the flow of the Chicago River. And now, the flow is from the lake, bringing in, a bit of fresh water and flowing in a southerly direction. So for those of you from St. Louis, you get our refuse, in your Budweiser beer that flows then into the Mississippi River and kind of clears out by the time it gets down, the Mississippi all the way, to the Gulf Coast. So there you have it, simple as mud. Up ahead, out of the pilot house now, over to your right, is the you can see the narrow banding of that river bend that I talked about at the curve of the river, and you'll see how narrow that building is, with everybody in those eastern exposed balconies and that single corridor down the western exposure here.